What's up, party people? I want to show you guys how to get a much more stable bass and a much more defined bass and kick sound, so that they're not conflicting with each other and that sort of stuff. Let's take a look at what we could do and how we could achieve such qualities in your low end, for example. So I like to start with the kick and then look at the basses and see what we could do to get a much more cleaner, thumpier kick. The simple concept here is to remove frequencies within the bass range that are conflicting with our kick. The first thing you want to do is open up your kick here in that channel. By the way, if you haven't noticed, I have my kick and my basses within one group, and the way you could do that is, let me just ungroup these. You could just shift them together and you put them all in one group, just like that. So let's take a look at the kick. The kick is very simple. It's pretty much this. And if I were to bring up the spectrum, double click on that spectrum, it brings you this. This is very important because it tells you where your frequency range is you're pointing at. If I take a look at my kick, let's solo it. I could see that the kick is thumping between 40 and 60 hertz here. So that's what we want to look at. So I could tell you right now that these basses, we need to focus on removing whatever's conflicting between 40 and 60. So anywhere between 50 is a good place to look at. Let's look at my sound. So this is my high bass, basically. Let me add the EQ. What I like to do for this purpose is make here the first one. I'm going to make it into kind of like an auto filter. There you go. And what you could do is, for this sound, I actually want to get rid of a lot in the low end. So I want to keep a little bit of that warmthness here, right around here. Let's take a look at our second one. Actually, you know what? Before we go to our second one, let's try to compress this and try to get a much more defined sound. Just around 2 to 3 decibels over here is a gain reduction. Is a good place to start with. Keep it on RMS actually. Now the reason why I use RMS, it's a more subtle compression. I'll tell you right now, I like where that sound is. Let's take a look at our sub. I really like the sub, to be honest with you. When I do add the sidechain compression on it, with this one we haven't added it. You could add sidechain compression like this. I mean, you could go open this up, go sidechain, input from your kick, which is impulse from in my case, and I like to keep this on auto as a starting point. And let's take a look. Let me see. So that's a good sidechain. I mean, look at. So yeah, that's a good pump. I feel it. It's not perfect, but I mean, that's not what I'm really focusing on in this tutorial. We'll get to that in a different one. But let's take a look at other bass. One thing I'd like to mention, actually, there's a really good plugin that I use. I'm not getting paid for this by any means. It's called Kickstart. It was built by Nicky Ramirez, and so what it actually does, it's a plugin for creating a sidechain compressor for you. So, but it won't work for tracks like trap and garage and stuff, because it's not always 4 to the floor kind of stuff. For me, it is right now. So, let's take a look. That is really good. I mean, like, instead of actually like getting rid of some of the frequencies um, within the sub itself, this is removing any sub that's coming in around where the kick has its own kind of deepness to it. So this is really excellent tool. Yeah, I really like that. Let's take a look at our final bass, which is this. Again, let's go back to audio effects, add an EQ. Let's bring it up, double click, and we're back here. Let's use this now. Let me bring the third one here. Remember, we're trying to remove frequencies within 40 to 60, so 50 is a good starting point. And a really good tool here is this little headphone thing here. It actually solos whatever frequency range you're in. So look. That's exactly what we want to remove. Let me remove a little bit more, around 3 decibels. I'll make it a little sharper. And the next thing I want to do is this first one. So this guy, little guy here, the human ear doesn't hear anything between 30 hertz. That's a fact. I mean, it's very rare that you'll be able to hear, and it's mostly rumble. The moment I remove anything beyond this point, which we can't see, you actually get a much more louder volume. It's a much perceived loudness. So, like, for example, look. And the way to remove it is by selecting this again. Let's take a look at the difference on and off on the EQ. You really can't tell, and that's a good thing. But it has removed that rumble. I see a slight change in volume as well, and that is good. That just means a lot of the frequencies that were there that we couldn't hear are removed, and therefore we could make more space for the kick's kind of tail or bass on the kick itself. And let's take a look at everything together. There's a good tool in Ableton. It's called Goo Compressor. It's inside your audio effects, and you could just double click on the bass punch and parallel. Let me just solo this. It's compressing a little too much. I want anywhere between like 3 to 4 dB. So if you bring up the threshold, it does that for you. That's really good. And what that does actually, if you see, if I shut this off, look what happens to the volume. Everything is very stable. They're all peaking around the same area, but watch when I shut it off. You get a lot of high volume, low volumes, not stable at all. So watch. Not a lot of difference in fluctuation in volumes, so that's a good thing. So now that we got everything in order, compressed, compression and EQing, and we could really get into detail. I mean, once the track is done, to see if there's anything you want to boost instead, and that's a different step, but I don't usually get to that point till later on in the entire mix to see what needs to be boosted. I don't like to boost unless it's really necessary. If anything, I like to remove stuff to kind of give us a cleaner audio perspective, right? So but now that we got basses kind of in order and the kick is in order, one last thing actually I wanted to do to the kick is add a compression to it. Let's keep it on auto and bring it down slightly. That's really good. You don't want to compress too much, you'll lose the oomph or the low end of it and the fatness to it. So just barely enough is good enough. That's excellent. Well, let's see if everything is good together and volume wise. That's perfect. Now that we got everything settled in your entire group channel, I like to add a compression to kind of glue everything together in my group. A good starting point is just click right here and dial 6, enter, and that gives you 61 compression rate. Keep it on RMS, it's more subtle, and I like to use auto. I'll adjust the attack to make sure the kick is coming through, kind of thing. So let's take a look. Wow, the huge difference. I mean, and it's not just the volume that's getting louder. There's a lot more happening. I could hear some of the reverb or the tail on the bass coming out a little bit more, and I could hear the sidechain a little better as well. And that's perfect. You don't want to compress too much. So that kind of lays it out for you guys, and kind of what you could do to kind of get that really tight low end. This is a really good starting point. I hope that kind of sets it up for you guys. One thing I really like to do on the group channel here is add an EQ8. Now, we're not going to use it to EQ. This is to split the mono frequencies. I want everything below 95 hertz to be in mono. That's all the low end stuff. So a really good trick is to go to stereo, click on mono and side, click side, and it gives you everything in yellow now. And a really good thing to do is I like to go with kind of like this and turn on the solo button to see exactly what I'm hearing. And you kind of want a little bit of the frequencies here, but not too much. So let's hear this. Let's hear the difference. I don't know if you guys could tell, but now a lot of the low end that was in the sides is now centered in the middle. There you have it, folks. That is such a much tighter and cleaner bass than you could expect. I mean, we could even go into more details, but this is a really good starting point for anybody trying to get a really good bass and kick. And listen, if your bass and kick are not tight and they're not sounding good together, your whole track won't sound nice. Those are the two main fundamentals of a music track. It's your kick and your bass. Doesn't matter what you're producing. You gotta make sure those two are really clean. And after all, that's what really gets people moving. So there you have it, folks. If you have any questions, comment below. I hope this kind of gives you guys, an idea of how things work. I hope this tutorial helps you guys. And again, this is my first video. I hope my videos get better, and as I release more videos, and with the help of you guys and subscribers, maybe you can help me out about my next tutorials, what to talk about, and what you guys want to see from me. I know a lot of forms of tricks and tips. I do produce a lot of deep house music. I'll link some of my productions at the bottom. You guys can take a look. I kind of use that as reference or my resume. So please subscribe, and thank you. Comment below, please. And if my video is not up to par, like again I said, this is my first video. The quality of my videos will get better, and it's a learning curve for myself as well. But I do know music. It's something that I've been doing for over 10 years now, and hopefully I could give out some information to other producers that may find us useful. So thank you guys, and continue producing. If you have any music that you want me to hear, put the links below. I'll take a look at them for sure. Thank you.